At the police station in Dungannon, Lorcan McFadden was waiting for them in the main interview room, accompanied by a uniformed PSNI officer. He was handed over without ceremony, and with no paperwork changing hands. He said very little, only grumbling a bit about living in a police state. But he was quite subdued, and they soon had him seated in the rear of Lyons' car, handcuffed, with his hands behind his back. Flynn sat in beside him and made sure that the doors were kiddie-locked before they set off, so that McFadden couldn't jump out along the way. The Gardaí didn't feel much like talking to their client, but Flynn was curious about one thing. "How did you and Sheila meet anyway, Lorcan? She seems a bit out of your league," Flynn asked the fugitive. "Ah, shit, man. She had to leave home after her ma married that prick Bolger. He's a fucking pedo." When they got back across the border, the two detectives relaxed a little. McFadden said he was famished, so they arranged to stop in Cavan, and Lyons went into the Supermax shop and purchased food for the two men. She herself wasn't hungry. After the stop, Flynn transferred to the front passenger seat, so he could eat his food and give their prisoner a bit of space to do the same. McFadden's handcuffs had been released, and he had been recuffed with his hands in front of him, so that he could eat his meal. Lyons set off again as she had no food to eat, and was keen to get the rest of the journey completed as soon as possible. Just a few kilometres outside the town, with Flynn still eating, McFadden made his move. He stretched forward and put his cuffed hands over Lyons' head, and then pulled back hard, so that he was choking her against the headrest. Flynn dropped his food and released his seatbelt in an effort to get control of the situation, but by now Lyons was choking badly and lost control of the car. The vehicle left the road and careered down an embankment, smashing into a fir tree. Flynn was catapulted forward, and without his seatbelt to save him, his head hit the windscreen hard, and he fell in a heap in the passenger footwell, covered in chips and bits of burger. Lorcan released some of the pressure on Lyons' neck and instructed her to undo his handcuffs, or he would strangle her there and then. Lyons knew enough to realise that he probably meant it, so reluctantly she reached into her pocket and retrieved the keys, which she then used to release McFadden's handcuffs. With his hands free, Lorcan elbowed the window in the rear door, shattering it. He then reached out and used the outside handle to open the door. He scrambled out, wrenched open the driver's door, and grabbed Lyons roughly by her jacket, hauling her out of the car. "Have you got a gun?" he rasped in her ear. "Don't be silly, Lorcan, of course not. We're not armed," she replied. "Give me your phone," he demanded. "Come on, hand it over, now!" Lyons reached into her jacket pocket and retrieved her phone, handing it to the fugitive. "Right, we're going back up on the road, and you use your warrant card to stop the first car that comes along. We're taking it," he said. "What about Eamon? He's badly hurt. We can't just leave him here. He needs medical attention." "Good enough for him. He'll be fine. Now come on, stop wasting time." He dragged her back up the embankment to the road. "Now, no funny business. Stop the car and then leave it to me, and I strongly suggest you don't try anything funny, or you'll regret it." The first car to appear on the road was a Nissan Almera, driven by an unaccompanied female driver. Lyons held up her hand, displaying the warrant card, while McFadden stood behind her with her other arm held firmly behind her back. When the car stopped, McFadden opened the driver's door. "Out! Now!" he barked at the startled driver. "And give me your phone. Hurry!" The woman was startled but did what she was told. McFadden pushed Lyons into the car and used his own handcuffs to fasten her wrists together and lock them onto the armrest. He then got into the driver's seat and restarted the car. As he drove off, Lyons managed to shout to the bewildered woman that there was an injured Garda in a car down in the ditch, and he needed medical help. She hoped the woman would have enough of her wits about her to stop the next car that came along and get help for Flynn, as well as alert the Gardaí to the situation. McFadden drove the car at alarming speed for about a mile, and then turned down a narrow side road which was little more than a track. They bumped along for a short distance, and then he turned into a gateway that led to an old, disused barn. He drove the car partly into the barn and stopped it. Lyons had not been in this position before, but she had been on courses where this sort of scenario had been played out. She realized, however, that role play on a training course and the real thing were very different.